Hi folks, I'm here with Paul Winnick. He's Deputy Minister for Municipal Affairs, and they're responsible for emergency preparedness, as well as Shane, who's the Managing Director of the Alberta Emergency Management Agency. We are here at the what's called the Provincial Operations Centre. The acronym is the POC, which is basically where all the different Government of Alberta agencies, departments come together with federal, municipal, First Nations. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that, Shane?
Well, so the POC is essentially acts as the coordinating nexus for emergency management in the province when we have a large-scale emergency. And like the Premier said, we have representatives from every government department, key federal departments, industry, stakeholders, non-governmental organizations like the Red Cross can be brought in. So really, it's where we kind of create a big clearinghouse for information and solutions for emergency response.
In this case, obviously dealing with the coronavirus, and so Paul, the province has had a strategy to deal with a pandemic of this nature, an influenza pandemic, and I guess that was exercised last November. How would you rate our kind of preparedness for the situation?
I would say, Premier, we're ahead of it, and we're going to stay ahead of it. So we did have a pandemic plan, a generic pandemic plan. Obviously, there are things that are unique about COVID-19, and this planning team that Shane spoke about is now keeping ahead of that, looking at the peculiarities and the particulars that are inherent to COVID-19 and making sure that the province remains best prepared to respond.
Now, I think folks are very impressed, we all are, with Dr. Hinshaw's tremendous leadership on the public health aspects of this pandemic. But Shane, one of the reasons that you've stepped up at the level of activity here at the Operations Centre is because we need to make sure, there's a whole lot of other issues that people may not see from the outside, whether it's plans for potential infection of homeless shelters, working with First Nations. Why don't you mention some of those issues that you work on here?
A pandemic like COVID creates whole of society impacts, so you have to have whole of society solutions. So some of the things we're working on are, so for instance, the creation of isolation facilities for homeless or vulnerable populations who may not have the resources to be able to do self-isolation themselves. We're also supporting health in terms of getting the public health messaging out, and municipalities and being able to enforce that, for lack of a better term. We're also sharing with industry stakeholders the best practices in terms of sanitation, occupational health and safety, and we're also taking a look at the impacts upon the Government of Alberta itself, so we can make sure that we maintain continuity of business to Albertans.
One thing we just talked about with the folks here is ensuring that we protect the operation of critical infrastructure. Obviously that includes, water treatment facilities, the electricity system, but also the big oil sands projects up north. We can't compromise, we can't lose things that are absolutely essential to running the Alberta economy. This is a place where the private sector comes, the municipalities right across the piece to make sure that the government has its eye and is thinking ahead. That's really what it's about. One other point I want to make is that we're coming into spring, which is typically flood and fire season in Alberta, and we've had a few of those in recent years. So Shane and his team are going to be responsible for potentially managing multiple challenges for the province, and that's why that place like this is important.
Absolutely, Premier, and we're here to say that they're very capable of doing that. They can handle multiple emergencies. Great.
So there you go, folks. You got a lot of wonderful public servants, and both of these are former military guys, by the way. We're fortunate to have a lot of experienced military officers who understand how to manage crises, the logistics, and all of these operational challenges. So Albertans should understand that we're in very good hands.